Hello friends, welcome back to Mains Answer Writing Basics program being presented by Team India4IAS. In this video, we are going to study about the answer approach to the Day 10 question on polity. So Day 10 topic bandu Union and its territories. Subtopic ಯಾವುದಂದ್ರೆ Union and its territories. So Day 10 question ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ question ಯಾವ ತರ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ examine the demand for smaller states and states based on linguistic identity in India. So demand for smaller states and states based on linguistic identity in India. Further, the question is also asking about analyze its impact on governance, national unity, and rise of regionalism in India. So the question, it has two parts. This is part 1 and this is part 2. So the question is for 15 marks and 250 words. ಸೊ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈ ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಬ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ, ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೂ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಯೂನಿಟಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೀಜನಲಿಸಮ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಸಬ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಸಬ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ 3 ಸಬ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ನಾವು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ 15 marks and 250 words. At least we should write 15 points. So if there are 5 parts in total, so if we are writing 3 points each, it amounts to 15 points. ಸೊ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಬಂದು ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರಿಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಹಿಸ್ಟೋರಿಕಲ್ ಕಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ reorganization in the year 1956. State Reorganization Act 1956 ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಹಿಸ್ಟೋರಿಕಲ್ ಕಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ನ ರಿಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. Or else we can also write the demand for smaller states. So demand for smaller states, this can also be written as introduction. So what is the reason for demand for smaller states and new states based on various dimensions that we should mention. So ee riti now introduction baribodu. These are the two introductions, alternative introduction that we can write. So coming to the main answer content, that is in the body part. So first we should address the demand for smaller states. This dimension we should address. So what is the reasons for demands for smaller states? Rationally, ಏನು ರೀಸನ್ನು ಯಾಕೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ರೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ. Smaller states are often seen as more manageable administrative units. So for example, Kerala irbodu, Jharkhand irbodu, Goa irbodu. So these are all smaller states and administrative efficiency in these states is more compared to the larger states. So ಇದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಏನು ಬರಿಬೋದು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲೋ ಫಾರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ಡ್ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್, ಬೆಟರ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ಕರ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ 3 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ. ಸೊ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಬರಿಬೋದು, ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಉತ್ತೇಜನ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ರೀಜನ್ಸು ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದಿ ಅದರ್ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್. ಇವಾಗ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ತೊಗೊಳೋದಾದರೆ, ಉತ್ತರ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ದಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದಿ ಸದರ್ನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಇವಾಗ UP ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, UPಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೀಜನ್ಸು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೀಜನ್ಸು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದರ್ಭ ಮತ್ತು ಮರಾಠವಾಡ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದಾದರೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅದು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಸ್ ದಿ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಟೇಬಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ನ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಏನು ಬರಿಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಂಪವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ಇವಾಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, so they are left behind in developmental process. So by going for smaller states, thus the regional aspirations can be addressed. The center can develop more funds. So for less developed states, center will develop, it will give more funds either in the form of grants or aids. So such funds can be utilized for the developmental aspirations of those smaller states. So these are the three important points with respect to the demand for smaller states. So after writing the reasons, then we should also write the challenges associated with demand for smaller states. So what are the challenges? ಏನ್ challenges arise ಆಗ್ಬೋದು? So the first point is economic viability. So creation of new states, whether the new states, they will be able to self-sustain themselves or they will be dependent on the center for their development. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇ ಮೇ ಸ್ಟ್ರಗಲ್ ವಿತ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನಬಿಲಿಟಿ. Many smaller states have limited natural resources and revenue generating capacities. So this makes them more dependent on central government transfers. So this is an added burden on the central government. So economically, whether the smaller state it can sustain or not, it depends on natural resources, industrial policies, and revenue generating capacity of the newly created smaller states. So this is one of the challenge. So the second important challenge, this is very important. So the second one is resource distribution and boundary issues. The second important issue is resource distribution and boundary issues. So as we have seen that there are a lot of boundary issues between many states in India. For example, with respect to Belgaum, Karnataka and Maharashtra, and in northern states there are already many boundary issues. In the Assam state, it itself has many boundary issues with its neighboring states. So these are the issues that arise. In addition to this, then there are issues with respect to resource distribution. So for example, particularly with respect to water and the division of assets and liabilities between the newly created states. So there is a interstate river water disputes. For example, Karnataka itself, it is facing interstate river water disputes with Tamil Nadu. There is a dispute with Goa. So such disputes arise. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಂದ ತೆಲಂಗಾಣ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ನ ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡಲಾಯಿತು. ಈ ತೆಲಂಗಾಣ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ತೆಲಂಗಾಣದ ನಡುವೆ interstate river water dispute arise ಆಗಿದೆ. So such disputes arise, and also the division of assets and liabilities between two states. So the same exists with respect to Andhra and Telangana. Still there is a dispute between these two states with respect to water sharing, with respect to the distribution of assets and liabilities. Andhra is still struggling to develop itself on its own, and it is dependent on it was frequently asking for the special category status from the center, so which has not been granted. So these are the issues or these are the challenges associated with creation of new smaller states. Next, we should address the state based on linguistic identity. Why there is a demand for state based on linguistic identity, and why the first State Reorganization Act in the year 1956 it went for state based on linguistic identity. That we should write. So coming to the reason or rationality. ಸೊ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ ಅರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್? ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋದಾದರೆ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವೇಷನ್. ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವೇಷನ್. So these linguistic states are seen as a way to preserve and promote regional languages and cultures. So ಈ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ರಿಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ 1956 ದೇ ವೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ರಿಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ language. So this was a key factor in the early reorganization of states that in the year 1956, and it was believed that linguistic homogeneity would lead to more effective administration. So that is true. So the states which are reorganized based on language, they are more effective in the administration. So the second point that we can write is identity and aspirations. So identity and aspirations. Identity based on language. Language is a crucial marker of identity. So states formed on linguistic lines can address the aspirations of the linguistic communities. So this ensures their language and culture are given prominence in the state's governance and policies. So if these two factors, if they are the rational or reasons for the formation of states based on linguistic identity, then there are challenges associated with states based on linguistic identity. So the first challenge is linguistic chauvinism. So ಏನು ಹಿಂಗಂದ್ರೆ linguistic chauvinism ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Linguistic chauvinism ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is a belief that our own language is better than all others, and it is often accompanied by an aggressive and unreasonable attitude. So either the attitude, that is linguistic chauvinism, it creates social tensions in the state based on language. For example, the states can adopt exclusionary policies which may disadvantage the non-native speakers, that is the people who came from other states who cannot speak the language of the states where they are going. So there is a exclusionary policies based on the native and non-native speakers. So the second point ಏನು ಬರಿಬಹುದು, divisive politics. Politicians can use linguistic identity for their political gains. They can create polarization based on language. This can fracture the social fabric, that unity in the society, and it will lead to, or it will challenge the national unity. So this is with respect to state based on linguistic identity. So the rationality and the challenges. Now we will address the second part of the question, that is impact on the governance if we go for smaller states and state based on linguistic identity. So coming to the positive impact. ಸೊ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ಡ್ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಗವರ್ನೆನ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್, ಯಾಕೆ ಆ ಥರ ಅಂತಂತಂದರೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲಿಂಗ್ವಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲಿ ಹೊಮೋಜಿನಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ potentially lead to more effective governance, and decision making can be quicker. So and policies can be better tailored to the specific needs of the population. So that is what advantage of the smaller and linguistically homogeneous states. So examples are Goa, Kerala. So the second aspect is decentralization. Smaller states can be seen as a decentralization. The reason being it brings the governance closer to the people. So it enhances the participatory governance and makes the administration more responsive to the local needs of the people. Then coming to the negative aspects. What are the negative aspects or negatives with respect to the smaller states? So the first one being weakening of the states. So if a bigger state it has been made into smaller states, there could lead to the creation of weak states with limited administrative capacities. This could hinder their ability to provide public services effectively. This can be seen in the case of Jharkhand. Then the second point is interstate conflicts. The creation of new states often leads to the dispute over resources, borders, and revenue sharing. These conflicts can persist for years, leading to instability and strained relations between the states. This can be seen in northeastern states with respect to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, Haryana and Punjab over water resource. So such conflicts and issues, interstate conflicts, they will arise. So, with respect to the national unity, impact on national unity, the creation of smaller states and states based on language. So, the how it will impact the national unity. The first one, the risks, associated risks are like it undermines the national unity. So, it undermines the national unity. The reason being regional and linguistic identities could take precedence over a national identity. So this leads to the various secessionist movements. So you can see that due to Hindi imposition, there is a Dravida nation movement done by southern states, and then there is secessionist movements in northeast India. So such regionalism or secessionist movements will start. Then the second one is rise of identity politics. So identity politics. So this where the regional and linguistic identity is emphasized over national identity, this will deepen the social divisions and create a fragmented polity. So in this case, what should be the solution? The solution is the India should have a strong federal framework which should ensure national unity and regional aspirations. And the second one being national integration programs like interstate council and zonal councils. So these will help in maintaining the national integration. Then the next aspect is impact on rise of regionalism. Yes, with the creation of smaller states based on language and any other ethnicity or culture, it will create more regional aspirations that will have a negative impact, like weakened national integration or national unity. It can create political instability, it can create secessionist movements. So this is the impact on rise of the regionalism. So what should be the conclusion? In the conclusion, we should write a balanced approach is required, where a regional aspiration should be accommodated within strong federal framework that ensures national integration, also meets the regional aspirations. The key to managing these demands lies in promoting cultural diversity while fostering a strong sense of national identity. So, in this way, we can conclude. This is all about the answer approach to the day 10 question. We will meet in the day 11 question answer approach. Till then, happy learning.